Hey friends, Minna here. Just jumping in here to let you guys know we have something so exciting. It's a free masterclass and we created it just for you right now.
We keep getting questions. How do I pivot and sell right now? The number one question we get is, how can I make more sales? And so we want to teach you how to create a plan to boost your sales and grow your business right now. So if you want this totally free masterclass that we've created for product-based businesses, head over to pivotandsell.com. We'll see you in there.
Welcome to the Product Boss Podcast, where we help product-based businesses grow their sales and improve their strategies.
Hey everyone, I want to introduce you to my co-host and biz bestie, Minna Sita, an Amazon guru that has built a multi-six-figure product-based business.
And introducing the other half of the Product Boss, Jacqueline Snyder. She has helped launch and grow over 500 fashion apparel and accessory brands, even one of her own.
And together, we share our inventory of secret weapons that will help you dig deep and do the work it takes.
Are you ready? Let's build together.
Hey everybody, Jacqueline and Minna here, your co-hosts of the Product Boss Podcast. Today, we will be sharing a conversation we had with a fellow female founder. You see, we believe women helping women is what the world needs more of. Introducing our female founder episodes, where we interview fellow female entrepreneurs and highlight their small business.
Our goal is to shine a spotlight on product businesses to encourage our community to support each other, learn from each other, buy from each other, and lift each other up. So let's jump in.
And welcome, ladies. So we want to introduce Grace Nixon Peterson and Leah Nixon. They are two sisters turned business partners who have kept dancing no matter what and no matter how many times they have gotten knocked down. And they are the founders, owners, and the artists behind Tiny and Snail. So welcome to the podcast, ladies.
Thank you. It's so good to be here with you.
We're excited to have you. So Grace and Leah are sisters. So would you mind just telling us really quickly, you're both in different states, right?
Right.
Yep.
So I'm in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
And I'm in South Dakota.
South Dakota. So two business partners that are in two different states, just like Minna and I. So there's definitely some stuff we can dig into there. So first, tell us a little bit about Tiny and Snail. What is your business?
So we are a stationery company that's dedicated to putting magic back in the mail with greeting cards that people want to keep. And so absolutely every card or print or product that we put out, we try to infuse magic and joy into it and really make it like a piece of art.
And you're both the artists.
High quality.
Right. And you're both the artists as well behind it.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, some cards are completely Leah's design. Some cards are completely mine. And then some of them we're able to like merge our artwork together, which is always really cool too.
Great. And so tell us a little bit of background. When did you get started with Tiny and Snail? How did you create it, right? Because you both have a fine arts background. Is that right? Or Leah, you do?
I do. Yeah. I went to college for 4 years for painting. But I think we really started when we were little kids coloring at the kitchen table. But then when we really started the company, it was a few years out. Grace had finished teaching with Teach for America, and I was down in Kentucky, and I was kind of like in the middle of nowhere, but I had moved there because of my husband, or my now husband. And I was really struggling because I was so isolated, and I felt like I couldn't get a job that like really used my talents in that area. So I moved back. Well, before we moved, I moved back to Rapid City. I was having a conversation with Grace, and she had started a Etsy shop where she was selling handmade cards, like individually handmade cards. And I just had the insight one day. I was like, Grace, I need somebody to boss me around and help me do the bookkeeping end of things. You need somebody who like has hands that work well and don't get so sore, and like somebody who can, make a mass quantity of each card, And so we started working together, and it probably took us about a year to design like our base signature collection. And then and just get up a website. And then we actually launched it.
October 2017 was when we launched our signature collection.
And I don't recommend doing this, but I started a new job on the exact same day that our website opened up. I started working as a construction laborer for Habitat for Humanity that same day. So that was kind of interesting.
You're like, yeah, I'll just keep it real busy. So, okay. So really quick, back to the name Tiny and Snail. It's named after both of you. So who's Tiny and who's Snail?
I'm Tiny.
And I'm Snail.
And then, Leah, you actually lived in a tiny house, right? You used to live in a tiny house.
Yeah. I've built 2 tiny houses. One like 8 feet by 25 feet long. And then the other one is like 13 feet by 10 feet, or 8 feet wide. So yeah, I really was into the tiny life, and that's how I got into construction.
And is that how you got the name Tiny, like the nickname? We've worked with these ladies. Okay. So we've worked with you ladies for about a year now. We were just trying to go back in time. So they were in our mastermind with us and recently graduated, and we'll get into all of the amazing things they've done just in a matter of weeks. But so tell us about the names. Like, where did they come from?
I mean, we were batting around so many names, back and forth, and found some good ones, but didn't quite find like the one. And then Leah was scrolling on Instagram one day, and she came across a family friend. He had posted a little cartoon that his daughter Ellie had done, and it was The Adventures of Tiny and Snail. And Leah was just like, oh my gosh, I think I found our name. And so we asked Ellie and her parents, could we take this into the world of stationery? Because we just thought Leah with the tiny houses. I've loved snail mail for forever. And Leah was like, and it kind of sounds like a law firm, which is just extra hilarious.
I love that so much.
So Ellie gave us her blessing, and we were able to bring it into the world of stationery.
Amazing. Okay. So that was October of 2017. Now, the title of this podcast is Two Sisters Who Keep Dancing, no matter how many times they get knocked down. And your story, when we first met you and discovered you online, actually, we became fans of yours before I think you even ever knew about us, is your story. And it's a really impactful story, but also one in which you've really, you've gotten back up and you keep doing it. So would you mind, Leah, telling our listeners just a little bit more about your story, what happened after you launched this business and you started working at Habitat for Humanity?
Yeah, so I was really happy working at Habitat. It was kind of a grueling job. And then in the evenings, I would come home and work on Tiny and Snail stuff. But in August of 2018, we were working on a house and putting up rafters with a telehandler, which is like a forklift, but with a really long arm. It's a 22,000 pound machine. And it had rained really hard at lunch. But we didn't think there was a grant or weather days built into the grant that we were operating under. And so we decided to keep going. And I was responsible for holding the guide rope that was tied to the rafters so that they wouldn't swing around and hit somebody out of the second floor. So I don't know, I was struggling with that because the rain had turned the soil just into this really slick clay. And, at the time I was only 120 pounds. And so I felt like a little mouse leading a brontosaurus. And actually, I think that was one of my last thoughts that I remember of that day, because I don't remember anything after that. But apparently somebody saw the telehandler starting to tip and they yelled at me to get out of the way, but I wasn't able to get out of the way. And so the arm the whole thing toppled over and fell onto my right leg. And in the meantime, I think because of the force of being knocked backwards, two of my vertebrae, T4 and T5, which is in the upper back, just kind of underneath the armpits, I got a burst fracture on those. So it basically shattered those, tore apart my spinal cord. And I woke up a few days later. And actually the first question I asked, which was, Grace flew in right away. And I'm really glad she did, because she was one of the few people who could interpret my finger spelling into her hand. And the first question I asked was, can I still draw? And I don't even remember asking that question, but that's how like central drawing is to my life. So
Grace, can you add a little bit to that story too? Because I'm sure that there was so much going through your mind, your sister, you get the call. What was happening in your end of the world?
Yeah, my mom called me late that afternoon and said, I have some really hard news to tell you. And said, like, Leah's in surgery right now, and she was crushed by this piece of machinery. And it was crazy. Like, the weight of hearing that one of the people who I adore most in the entire world was literally like hanging by a thread for her life. It just crushed me. And I'm so far away. I was in Milwaukee. And so I just remember like sitting that night on the couch, and my husband was just holding me, and I was just weeping and saying, like, God, you have to let her live, and you have to let her still have use of her hands. And miraculously, both of those things happened. So my parents helped get me a plane ticket right away. I flew in, and then I was in the ICU with Leah and our whole family for the next 30 days. It was just this total roller coaster. Multiple surgeries. Her right leg ended up being amputated during that time. You kind of in the ICU, like, you think things are getting better, and you'll have like a pretty good kind of boring day, and then it'll just dive right back into scariness. So yeah, it was really touch and go. But I think like 8 or 9 days in, I brought the laptop in, and I was like, Leah, I'm so sorry, but like, I need your help putting up on the website that we can't get shipments out right now. And so we had a business meeting right there in the ICU.
Perfect. On painkillers and everything.
Did you have your Keep Dancing collection yet at that time? Was that already brought out? No, not yet.
No.
Okay.
No, Keep Dancing was sort of a mantra that came out of the accident, actually, because in the ICU, one of the doctors, a neurologist, was trying to get me to use my hands and arms still, because like, that's hugely important to like just keep them moving and keep those muscles and nerves working. So he like had me do these exercises with my hands, like spreading my fingers out like 10 times in a row, and lifting up my hands and then like putting them over my head. And after, a whole full day passes and you're supposed to do that every hour, it's like, oh my gosh, how is it another hour already? Especially the breathing exercises were the ones that, but anyway, I said, you know what, this would be a lot easier if we turned on some music. And so that's what we did. We just started having dance parties in the ICU. So Keep Dancing sort of became like, a phrase for us to, that meant like, just keep doing what you love to do and just keep going forward. And so it's really stuck with us. And the year anniversary after my accident, we released the Keep Dancing line.
Which is crazy because Leah spent these 30 days in ICU. Then she was life flighted to Denver to start rehab, and she did 7 months of rehab. And so like within this year, we were able to put out, a collection. She ended up getting married last July.
I was working on a book.
Oh yeah, illustrating a book. So it's pretty amazing. I think that she was
making home modifications. Yeah, I don't even know. I mean, I don't want to make people feel bad about their lack of productivity.
But you should. No.
Somehow. I could do it. So, what's your excuse?
Yeah. And I think and we've been going, we were in the mastermind with you during even this time of the pandemic. And I think your positivity, the two of you, just so everyone knows, if you can't see us live on Facebook, Leah is in a chair. In a wheelchair, and she has had to move out of her tiny homes into like this accessible home. But you're doing great, and we love seeing you in your office and all that. But like they said, that she had use of her hands because she really is like the most gifted of artists. And there's so many spiritual things about you and the stories you all tell. And I think that's one of the reasons you had such an impact on us before we met you. And then I think that you continue to have success and impact on other people because if you follow them, so please go follow Tiny and Snail, and we'll put the link in the show notes.
And they're still dancing.
They're still dancing. And they'll do dance parties even with like a friend or their brother and they've dealt with other traumas and other family, health issues the year after Leah's accident, and they still smile and they still dance and they still put out positivity and love into the world. So, I mean, just if you ever need to be lifted up, follow these two ladies. Now I want to get into lifting you two up because you are killing it right now with your business. So let's talk a little bit.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. Let's talk a little bit about in the last year. So in the last year, we met you about a year ago and you launched, let's say, the Keep Dancing collection. And tell us a little bit about what you're selling now, how you're selling, and maybe some of the amazing things that are happening.
Yeah. So the Keep Dancing collection last year, we launched it on August 14th, the 1-year anniversary of Leah's accident, which we have reclaimed, and we call it Leah Lived Day. And that was just such an amazing day last year. And we really wanted to celebrate again for year 2. And so this year we created the Courage collection to launch on Leah Lived Day. And just had an incredible response. Like last year's collection was great and did really well. And this year we doubled the number of sales with the Courage collection. So people have just been so supportive and so amazing. I have some of Leah did all of the magic on this particular collection, and it's just like so beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
There's a tiger card that says you're a bad.
You're a bad.
Podcast. I will bleep it out.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Podcast. This one is really amazing. So there's this phoenix rising from the ashes, and it says, like a phoenix, you rose from ashes. Happy rebirth day. The world wouldn't be the same without you.
Oh my gosh. I love that so much.
See how impactful they are? I mean, there's the words that I think from the two of you, the brilliance is that the marriage of the words and the art and how heart connected they are. And we've seen it in your family. They're very open about their family and their family dynamics and their parents and how close they are with their parents. And I think that same link, that like heart thread link really links between the art and what you deliver to your customers.
Yeah. That bond.
Actually, Jacqueline, like, that was probably the most impactful advice we ever got.
From you.
Yeah. One day you were saying that, like, I think you were talking specifically about our Stardust and Fireworks card, maybe. And you were just saying, like, the more you can put, like, that into your products, like, that is going to be the thing that really drives your sales and your business. And
yeah, the magic, right?
Something just switched in my brain when you said that. And like, yeah, I think I was holding back a little bit on Tiny and Snail, like from appearing on the like Instagram stories or things like that. Or like my descriptions were like kind of generic before. And now I just like feel like I'm like putting all of myself in there, and it's like way more comfortable, and I think people gravitate towards it even more. So,
well, I'm glad you put yourself out there. I mean, Grace and Leah, like, kind of like Minna and I. Grace would show up more on camera, and Leah is such a like the soul of this business as well, and so it was also putting yourself out there. But yes, I think connecting that. So I'm so glad that worked in this. So some successes. So so people to learn from you two as female founders, what are some sort of key things that you've done that have sort of been the thing that sort of skyrocketed you forward a little bit? Because I feel like a man landing on the moon and like that leap, like you don't take a step, but it leaps you forward. And I feel like that's happened for you a few times over the last couple of years. Has been something like pivotal that has kind of jumped you to the next part. So would you mind sharing some of that?
Getting crushed by a telehandler really was a leap forward.
Okay, well, number one.
Yeah. It's a big
I highly
one.
recommend one of the partners getting paralyzed.
Oh my God.
No, but I mean, it does feel like, it pushed us way back, but then at the same time, like, it really has helped us. Well, I just feel like every day since I almost died is such a opportunity and blessing. And like, I feel like it really, I always tried to live out of a place of abundance, but I think even more now, I'm just like, man, like I can do this. Like I am still alive and able to do this. And like, why not throw myself into it as much as I can? And so like, I think that's been really big. Just having the opportunity to do that. But another huge thing was just like the decision at the beginning to work together. I feel so bad for people who work by themselves because there's just so much to manage. Right? I don't know how people do it. You know, you probably get that.
They find their community. That's how they do it. They really do. You have to find your people. You were born with your people. You know, I found Jacqueline. Thank goodness. I always tell her, you could have turned out to be a psychopath. Thank goodness.
I still say I may be.
She's like, no,
other people.
She doesn't say I may be. She says, I am a psychopath.
But she can just handle my psycho.
So yeah, they find their community, but agree that makes such a big difference.
Yeah.
And I think if you don't have a partner, that the thing is that you find a community for, I think, the mindset support oftentimes, and then you will hire the next person when you can do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you two are able to kind of grasp a lot of things, like Grace bringing you a computer into the hospital bed. And like, I know that this just happened to you, but can you please help me with this website? Just like, sure.
You know, so I have to go back to the ICU experience because there were only a couple of things that like kept me here earthside. And one of those things, like there were a couple experiences where like, I don't know, it felt like I was like being drawn into this like warm blackness. And every time like I was thinking about going into that, like one of my loved ones would come and like hold my hand. And that was, and then I was just like, I can't leave my little brother here, you know? And then the second thing was like the thought that Grace cannot run Tiny and Snail by herself.
I was about to cry, but thank you for making me laugh.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful.
I did not leave Grace alone with this business.
I was like, she won't be able to manage. So yeah, I mean, having a purpose is probably a great thing to
I
have when you're almost dead or dying. Yeah.
Yeah. So Grace, I think for you too, like, and you've been the one, I mean, we told you how to like, you know, find your way into working with influencers and going about that. So what are some things that you've done recently that have sort of, let's say the best sales that you've had this year? So kind of what's gotten you here? Like what was the big change that you've made other than the product being awesome, but you still have to have people to sell to, right? You still need customers on your email list.
Before we do that, before you answer, Grace, I want to preface this with something. So when we were working with them, we had to kind of push them, right, a little bit to get out there. And I think that their dynamic is very similar to myself and Jacqueline, where someone takes the lead. And in this case, it was Grace. Grace oftentimes will take the lead so Leah doesn't have to, reach out to these people in a really good way. Sometimes she'll pretend to be Leah. When I was putting myself out there before, sometimes I'd pretend to be Jacqueline in the DM, right? It's a little bit easier. Also, a lot of times I don't do anything. Jacqueline does it all for me. And it gets me 80% of the way. I only have to come the extra 20%. So I wanted to preface it with that, with having someone out there that pushes you into discomfort, but at the same time kind of holds your hand and leads the way. So I think that's what a lot of times Grace does.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, Leah is just, we both love art, but Leah is just, she has that particularly special gift. And so like for this collection, she was working her tail off, like creating the art and digitizing and making it really beautiful. And so it's like, okay, I have to take on reaching out to people and the visibility piece of this to really like make a splash with it. And so, yeah, influencers have been a big part of our marketing plan. And Instagram is so amazing. Like to have that as a free tool where we can access basically anyone if they happen to read our DM. And so I think it didn't happen from the very beginning. Like I was definitely more scared in the beginning to reach out. And now I've more gotten to a point where it's just like, there is literally nothing bad that can happen from this. They can only say yes ignore us or say no. Like there's no, there is no harm in trying to form a relationship and reaching out. But one thing that we just really try to be like authentic and genuine and build real relationships with people. And so I think that's really important to me with our influencer strategy is when we find people who we think could be great, we really try to like build a relationship with them first and, you know, start following them, learn what they like comment on their stuff. And then when we reach out, like the message that I craft, I do try to make it personal to them. And yeah, and that seems to really work for people. I mean, we had over 20 influencers who we were able to send packages to at this launch. And it is so much work and it's a lot of like organizing. And I try to make each package extra beautiful for each person. But then, yeah, some of the shout outs that we get are just so nice and really amazing. And so it's worth it. And then, I mean, some of those relationships we get to keep on facilitating and you just have like a lifer with you who's willing to like share your story on their platform. So it's been really impactful for us.
So would you say, so you sent out about 20 packages for this last launch to influencers that you had reached out to, and then they spoke about you. And then I know that you've had growth recently. You had like a massive growth in your email list and also followers. So was that attributed to working with the influencers?
No, that was a giveaway that we did. So
we used King Sumo, and we partnered up with Postmark Studio, and they do a monthly subscription box. And so my pet portraits are really popular. And with King Sumo, we tried really hard to like give extra incentive prizes for people who, you know, really shared but weren't the lucky winner.
Right.
So yeah, we grew our newsletter list by like 500 people, I think.
Okay. So that was a giveaway that was built with a collaboration with another business.
Mm-hmm.
And you also did the influencer marketing, and that's sort of the two things hand in hand, and they were both done on Instagram, right?
Yeah. We've also been really good at posting like every single day and really showing up in our stories, which I think, you know, only makes people see your content more. So that's been really big. And we started doing like, I'll do a week, Grace does a week, I'll do a week. And so I think you get to hear both my sort of more, I tend to like be a little philosophical on some of our posts, and you know, Grace definitely brings like a party element to Instagram.
You both are such a light in your own way, though. You know, you really, really are just a great account to follow, because you really are genuine and caring, and you really exude this positivity in your own way. I don't know if Grace is party animal, but she definitely is positive and light, and just you know, has a beautiful, or like her name fits her like perfectly. And Leah definitely is more philosophical and different in like a little bit more artsy form.
You're like,
quirky. I don't know.
You're an artist. Like you're like intellectual, and you're artist, and you're deep in that way, and like you portray it in different ways too. So I love it. I also have to tell people I have a 4-year degree in fine arts as well, because sometimes you can get this, you know, it's like, no, I actually have a BFA, you know?
Yeah. They're like, oh, my niece is an artist too.
Yeah,
I'm
they
like,
went to wherever. Do you know how many nights I didn't sleep?
I don't know.
Art doesn't have an end. That's the thing. When you go to art school, there is no like, do this and you write this paper and you're done. Like when you're painting something, it's done when you say it's done. And like if the deadline comes, it's like, I don't know how many nights you were awake, but I was awake for probably 4 years.
Man. Yeah. I was often at the studio until like 2 a.m.
Oh yeah. We would call each other at like 6 a.m. We'd have a project. It would be like Mondays are our biggest day, like for illustration. And we'd call each other, it'd be 6. Are you done yet? No, I'm still trying to do it. And then like you roll in, and it's just like everyone's doing constructive criticism, and we're all like trying to hold our eyes open while like our work's on the walls. So
yeah. At one drawing class, I had like I had been working on this drawing all night, and I just pinned it up on the wall. And our class started at, I think it was 8 a.m, which is like ungodly early for college students. But I slept through my alarm. And so it was really funny because like I came in at the very end of class and they were like, oh, well, we critiqued yours anyway because it was on the wall. So like, technically I wasn't late, but anyway, yeah.
Oh, art school.
Oh,
Yeah.
art school, yeah.
Which is such a good like prerequisite to the real world, because getting critiqued on something you feel like is so part of yourself is certainly a part of being a product entrepreneur. You always feel like you're having to put something out there in tangible form and people say what they want to say, you know, or and it feels very personal. So I think that that's probably a good, you know, dipping your toe into getting some criticism for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like Grace and I work.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like Grace and I work well together because there's either two responses that Grace gives, like, I think you could change it a little bit here, or, oh my gosh, I love that. And
there's no in between.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, she's almost always right about when it should be changed. Sometimes when she's like, I love it, I'm like, well, it's not done yet. But yeah.
A conversation I had with Minna yesterday. It's like, I have a genius idea, and we got on a call, and she's like,
I don't know.
You know, and I was like, okay, all right. I thought I was a genius for a minute, but maybe not.
No, I bring genius ideas to Grace almost every day, and she's like, I think we need to focus on just like our cards. I'm like, oh, okay, fine. You know?
Leah's such the idea person, and I'm like the execution. Like, let's go with this.
Yeah, logistics.
Yeah. I mean, the idea was not brilliant. It was definitely brilliant. It's just that making it in a form where we have to push other people to do it is kind of like our job. So for me, I was like, oh, I don't know if we could do this in this way.
And I'm like,
you know?
I see it. I see it all. I see how to do it. So what are your, so we're, you know, well, one, congratulations on Leah Lives Day, because we're just a few days off of that. It's August 19th and we're recording this. We're like 5 days off, right? So I'm glad we get to record this live with you after.
So Leah, I didn't know that August 14th was Leah Live Day, because that's the day that my daughter had her open heart surgery and lived as well.
Really?
No way.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful.
She went in like 11 p.m. on August 13th. She lived August 14th. She came out at 4 a.m.
Wow.
It's a magical day, apparently.
It is a magical day.
It is, yeah. Yeah, pretty cool.
So
then the stars aligned and brought us together.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah.
And magic has happened. And that's
the universe had a plan.
We're so proud of the two of you. I mean, just from really finding your way through this, you're both highly coachable. You both want to learn a lot. I know you've been learning and nonstop, and then you also implement and take like big action, right? Big risky action, which is something I want our listeners to just think about. Like, even when there's risks, even when things feel scary, even if you're knocked down time and again, that you get back up and that you keep moving forward. So a lot of us have mindset issues of things that feel super scary. But then you have big life-changing events like Minna and, you know, Leah and Grace on these, it's those times where you look back and you're like, what do you have to lose? Right? Like, text DMing an influencer, psh, you know, staying home during a pandemic, psh, like we're all good. Like we can do this. And you've really brought that to us. So what's happening with Tiny and Snail now moving into Q4, which is like gift giving, card giving, best time of the year for you all. What's happening with Tiny and Snail?
Well, so we had our launch of our Courage collection. So we're still really selling that. We ended up selling out on certain designs on our pre-launch day to our email list, which basically means that we need to buy way deeper into inventory. My husband had a nice
those cards as well too, don't you think, Jacqueline?
Oh yeah.
Wait, say that again, Minna?
I was going to say we need them.
Yeah, we need those cards.
We will get you some. They're just such amazing designs. And so anyway, we're restocking on those and we'll just keep on selling those. But then we have a fall collection that we're super excited about. And at first we were like, I don't know, should we launch this? Because it is going to be kind of close, or it's like sandwiched between the Courage collection and then our winter collection that we've been planning. But we're just like, you know what? We're just going to do it. Because I think we have we've just grabbed onto this attitude, like, we get to do this. We get to do this. Why don't we just do it? And it's like we have this second chance. So we're going to launch our fall collection sometime in September. And then we have a really beautiful winter collection coming out. And that'll be in time for the holidays and stuff. So I think it's cool because people can grab from anything we've already done with like the signature collection or Keep Dancing, but then they'll have the Courage collection option, this fall collection, and the winter collection. Especially with like prints, we make really beautiful 8x10 archival quality prints. We partnered with Sarah Cornwell Jewelry to do these limited edition necklaces that we're wearing.
Amazing. What does it say on there? Does it say something?
And then the word that.
Oh. Oh yeah, you're a bad ass. I mean, we might as well say it at this point because if it's either one way or the other, we'll have to edit it or not.
So that's amazing because you were in the mastermind together. And so I think that's the thing also that is maybe something here just to understand is like that you're willing to collaborate and I think within our masterminds or within our community collaboration, sometimes people are like, well, who do I collaborate with or how do I do this? And we're like, look to our community. Like we've built the Product Boss community we've built. And then if you work with us in smaller groups like Multi-Stream Machine or in our masterminds, then you've got even closer contact with people. Did you see actually, two of the people that were Janelle from Wreath and Robe, like we have a bunch of other masterminders wearing her voter shirts. So I love seeing people that have worked together all wearing each other's stuff. Because when they're like, who do I buy from or how do I start my list? It's like each other. Let's start with each other. Let's support each other first.
Women lifting up other women is super cool.
Yeah. Earlier, before we did this collaboration with Sarah, we had done a collaboration with Zatka Decor.
Jennifer. She was just on our live.
Oh, cool.
Oh, really? Oh, nice.
She's so great. So her little beautiful concrete holders were so perfect to hold our cards. So we had done that. So I think we've just met such great people through your masterminds, through the community. And it brings in this new energy when you can partner up with each other.
Can I add something to that just in case? So I'm going to try and sell your stuff right now. One of the things of advice we gave them in the mastermind was to collaborate, let's say for the holidays. So I'm going to tell all you product people out there for the holidays, you have to deliver value or something extra. And so people are not going to be special. So a lot of families aren't going to be together and they're going to want to deliver gifts to people and they're not going to want to just come in like an Amazon box, right? They're going to want to make it feel special. And so in Rock Your Holiday Promotions Challenge and whatnot, we've talked about, can you gift wrap the item? Can you offer gift wrap? Can you offer a handwritten card? So some people are asking, well, okay, handwritten card, where do I get them? So we told Tiny and Snail. So if any of you were thinking that, Tiny and Snail sells wholesale. So you can come to them and buy some beautiful cards. So one, you're supporting another small business, you're supporting this business, and then you can then offer these cards as either an add-on to your to the price of your product, or it could be that extra value. So let's say in the month of November, you're doing Cyber Month sale is that we're going to wrap and give you a gift card for everything, right? And then you could take Tiny and Snail and then you can kind of feature them as like a collaboration. So that's just my coaching thing to them that I'm then telling the world. If you need cards for your customers, get them at Tiny and Snail.
Right. Because one of the things we taught all of everybody in Rock Your Holiday Promotions is this year people are going to be more thoughtful with the dollar they spend. And so you need to kind of push them over that buying. Why am I going to buy? Well, 100% they're going to buy an add-on probably because they're supporting small businesses, right? And this particular business has such a beautiful story and something where it is into the idea of giving and positivity and bringing light to a season in your life and to the world. So I think that just goes hand in hand really well.
And another thing I wanted to bring up was that the Keep Dancing collection and the Courage collection, we give a portion of the proceeds to the Craig Hospital Foundation for Spinal Cord Research. And we're really hoping to partner with find other awesome organizations to donate to with each collection we do. So we haven't really picked what our Christmas collection will be or holiday collection, but it's just another way that we love, it's just really cool to be able to give back in that way.
Yeah.
It really is.
So.
But thank you so much for that shout out. Any businesses out there, we really would love to partner in that way. And I brought these little like tiny cards. These are so popular on our site, and they come with a really cute little mini envelope. So I think this could be a good option.
So can you read that off to us for the podcast listeners?
Yeah.
Grace?
So it's a really mini folded card, and it says, "Tiny newsflash, it's going to be okay."
Right? Could we all not use that card right now? And what do we call the tiny cards?
Tiny cards.
Tiny cards.
Mm-hmm.
Can we call them? Oh no, that was another discussion we were having in the mastermind of like what we were going to call certain cards.
No. Oh yeah, that's our fall line actually.
Okay. We won't give it away. We have to follow. So thank you, ladies, for being on. You are both incredible women, and we're so honored to have you on the Female Founders podcast, and that we hope to continue to support you in your business. So tell our listeners how they can follow you, buy from you, and what else did I say? Share you.
Yes.
Amazing. So we hang out all the time on Instagram. It's our favorite place. Our handle there is @tiny_and_snail. And all of our shop is on a beautiful website that Leah's created, tinyandsnail.com. So that's where you can buy all of our stuff. And if anyone is interested in wholesale, we do that through Bulletin. So they can find info on our website.
Right. So just go on in there. And then if they want to email you for a wholesale, or do you want them to just head over there?
Oh, they can definitely email us or DM us.
Go to the DM.
Go to our DMs. That would be great.
We do a lot of business in the DM. So, so amazing. Thank you both for being on today. We're getting tons of comments because we recorded this live on Facebook about So Inspiring. They're going to check you out. They love the idea of buying from you for cards for the holidays. And it's been an honor, ladies.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. You both have meant so much to us. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
We miss you.
I know. We'll hang out on Instagram.
Yeah.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, wait, before you go, we want to remind you that we've created this incredible masterclass. It is totally free. It is our Pivot and Sell masterclass, where we are going to teach you how to create a plan to boost your sales and grow your business right now. You do not want to miss this. It's totally free. So Minna, where should they go?
Go to pivotandsell.com and you guys can get that free masterclass and get started on creating a plan to boost your sales right now.